We're recording.
Thank you. Jerry, you can start.
Thank you. Is there anyone here for open forum?
There is, raise your hand.
People are just getting connected by audio, so give it just a couple minutes, Jerry. It looks like everyone's in now.
I don't see anyone raising their hand, so I think we can move on.
I'd like to call the meeting to order. Thank you all for coming. Mr. Secretary, would you call the roll, please?
Dreyer,
Here.
Page,
Here.
Whitaker,
Yeah.
Ludwig.
Here.
Absent is Robertson, DeVecchio, and Goodman.
I'd like to have a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make that motion, John Page.
Thank
I'll
you, Karen.
second.
Thank you, Amanda. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Agenda is approved. We're going to hold off on approving the minutes until next month. Ramsey, was this meeting duly advertised?
Yes, it was properly advertised in the Brighton Pittsford Post, May 13th, 2021.
That meeting is duly advertised, will now be held. First item on the agenda, public hearing. The establishment of rules and/or policies pursuant to Town Code Section 224-4 for determining when repairs to and maintenance of landmarks will not require a certificate of appropriateness. The specific rules / policy under consideration is not to require a certificate of appropriateness for the removal of a dead or dying tree from the designated property.
As the commission has asked, the town attorney and us have discussed it. He had written up this policy, which can also be amended as time goes on if the board feels that they're in support of this. If there's other amendments that you might want or policies that you want to add to this in the future, we'll be able to do that just by amending this policy from time to time after we call a public hearing. You will see the one question I do have in talking about this, it says a dead tree. Could it be trees, or are we just going to limit it to that you could take down one tree?
Well, I think it should be trees, but I have a question about, is this intended to be enforced by the property owner? In other words, is there, before somebody makes the decision to remove a tree, what do they have to do to avoid? I mean, this probably wouldn't come up, but let's say somebody removed a tree and somebody thought that it wasn't dead and they complained about it. I mean, before we talked about having some sort of evidence. I mean, are we looking for anything like that on this, or do we just want this to be very much up to the property owner and not worry about it?
Part of the reason that wasn't in when we discussed having this public hearing scheduled, when I brought that up, I heard some of the members not being supportive of it. It is something I sometimes ask people, especially if the tree is more dying than dead, because sometimes it can be hard to tell what's going on with the tree. But sometimes if a professional goes out and looks at it, they can verify it. I often do that with the clearing and excavation exemptions, because in our town, if you have one acre or more, you need a clearing and excavation permit to take down trees. But if they're dead or dying, it's exempt under the law. And sometimes someone will give me a letter saying, I had someone come out and they said these trees are dying and they need to be removed. And I'd say, I understand, that's fine. But it's the pleasure of the board.
think when we talked about this issue the last time, part of the policy, I think, is to streamline or make less of a burden on the homeowner. So if there's a tree that's dead or dying, I don't think we should require someone to go out, a nursery person to go out and say, well, the tree's dead or dying. I think we should. I think this is a good policy, just the way it stands.
Okay,
I agree with Jerry.
so Ramsey, you're seeing this as a gateway policy. I had a list of other things that I was thinking about in preparation for this, but it may be, it's fine also to put it off, but there's things that I think that came up, other things like removal of a piece of equipment that's no longer needed. For instance, like an air conditioner. The reciprocal of that was also putting a compressor on the property in order to have thing. Anyway, there's a discrete list of things that probably could be considered and added in the future to what you're creating here.
Yeah, that is the idea. I thought it was a good idea that Ken came up with, is that we have this policy, and that after we call a public hearing, we could amend that policy to add additional things. So I think as time goes on, it is felt that this would be helpful to people that follow down the road, 10 years from now, 5 years from now, when some of us may or may not be here or even remember what we did, we would have it actually in writing. And I think it's a very good idea. So John, we could at another time do this again on a different topic and add it to the list.
Okay.
Is
I
the
think,
beauty of the list.
And the one thing about air conditioning and compressors and also generators is that they do require building permits. So there is some protection there. And the other advantage to those items are that they're readily removable and they do not affect the fabric of the house itself.
Right, which is why I thought there's something that could be considered. However, when you're talking about something like that, you may want to have something in there that says not in front of the house, for example.
Well, that's the code. The code requires.
Okay,
Yeah, but you got to understand, if they're applying for a variance, you will not see it if you do that. But this is probably for a different topic, because right now we're having the public hearing on the policy as drafted by the town attorney. And then maybe after that, we can pick back up another policy if we would like.
So Ramsey, this is basically the blueprint. Once this is in place and approved and we have the public hearing, then we can just add to it as we see fit
No, well, you have to hold a public hearing each
Yep.
time.
each time.
Each time.
Good to know.
Yeah, right. I drafted this so you could have a format to drop things in. There's a reason that this rule is rule number one. I wasn't expecting that you'd add rules to it. I wouldn't have done it that way. So it's there. All you gotta do is, it's gonna make amending this rule easier, and you just have a proposed rule to add or a proposed policy that, something. Remember, it has to be under the code related to maintenance or repair. And it would obviate the need of coming to the board for a C of A. And really, as Ramsey alluded to, this is a tool more for the use of staff than anyone else, right? So you put the policy in place, but you're putting the policy in place really for staff so that when somebody picks up the phone and says, hey, do I need to get a C of A for my designated house because I want to remove a dead tree? Now staff can clearly say, no, you don't need a C of A, don't worry about it. And if you want to add to it for air conditioners, et cetera, same application. Similarly, if somebody says, hey, my next door neighbor whose house is designated took down a dead tree, I think the town should go find them or bring a code violation against them. Again, we know that that's now okay. So the utility of the policy and the rules is really for staff to have clarity. And Ramsey and I know where your heads are at, but we want to put something in writing so that when you all aren't around and when Ramsey and I aren't around, some future boards, some future staff folks will know what to do.
Okay, what's next?
Somebody would need to ask if there's anyone in the Zoom audience who would like to make comments during part of this public hearing.
If there is, if you could raise your hand. We don't have any hand raisers, so.
In
Would
that
you like-
case,
Would you like a motion, Ken?
I think we can close the public hearing if you want to do that, Jerry.
Let's close the public hearing and any discussion among the board. Well, let's ask for a motion first, please.
Yeah, I think the motion could simply be to adopt the policy that is before the board, that is being adopted pursuant to Town Code Section 224-4, which will put in place a policy that will not require a certificate of appropriateness for a designated property owner to remove a dead or dying tree from a designated property.
Very good. May I have someone put forth that motion, please?
I'd be glad to.
Thank you, David. Second, please.
I'll second it, John Page.
Thank you, John. Any discussion?
Thank you, Ken.
Ramsey, would you call the vote, please?
Ludwig,
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes,
Page,
Yes,
Dreyer,
Yes.
motion passes.
Thank you. Thank you, Ken. We have no designation of landmarks. We have no certificates of appropriateness. No hardship application. Public hearings are now closed. New business. Any new business? Okay. Old business. Application of William and Jason Barnicut Carnes, owners, for a certificate of appropriateness renewal located at 30 Stoneham Road.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Bill, how are you?
We are well, thank you. We're applying for the extension. Due to COVID and supply line and contractor issues, our windows, the agreed upon windows arrived after the expiration of our existing certificate of appropriateness. So we just wanted to apply for an extension to do the work that was already approved.
So Bill, are you living in your car now? Is that it?
I'm
don't
actually
have
in
any
the middle
windows?
so yes, I am.
Oh, okay, well, you know, you can drive you can live in your car, but you can't drive your house. So there you go.
Exactly. So we ordered the agreed upon Anderson windows. They arrived. We just simply want, our contractor is now available to start the work, but we were beyond our date. So we wanted to do the right thing and make sure that Ramsey advised us to apply for an extension.
Very good. Well, thank you for doing that.
Of course.
Ramsey, you want to speak to this? Or
Yeah, it's not too much to say. I think Bill did a pretty good job of summarizing it. The code does allow for the commission to renew their approval. And that is what they're here to do. It sounds like they're about to start work. You can extend it for a year. You can extend it maybe for a specific time, I believe. That's up to the commission.
I
And,
recommend
it would be
extending
good to
it for a
have
year.
a motion.
Ken, would you like to prepare a motion?
You're on mute, Ken.
I would like to hear a little more about what the pleasure of the board is relative to the length of time that the extension would be granted. I would recommend that the extension be granted certainly no more than a year. But certainly you could make that extension less than a year.
Well, John suggested a year, and I think that's fine.
Okay.
I agree.
I
And do
agree.
you want it extended a year from when it expired or a year from today?
Maybe simpler if we just, I don't think it matters to the applicant, but maybe if they could just extend it from the date that they got it.
Does it matter to the applicant? Bill?
We're prepared to start, so it does not matter to us.
Great.
Okay,
So what is, just tell me what the pleasure of the board is and I'll give you a resolution.
well, let's extend it for a year from today, if that's,
Sure. I can make that happen. All right, so I would propose a resolution that would renew the certificate of appropriateness, which was granted under application 2H-01-20 for property at 30 Stoneham Road in the town of Brighton, owned by William and Jason Barnicut Kearns. And that the renewal of that certificate of appropriateness will expire 1 year from today on May 27th, 2022.
I'll
Okay.
make that motion.
thanks, John. May I have a
I'll
second?
I'll second the motion.
Thank you, Amanda. Any discussion? Ramsey, would you call the vote, please?
Ludwig,
Yes.
Whitaker,
yes,
Page,
Yes,
Trier,
Yes.
motion passes. You guys are renewed. Good luck
Thank
with
you.
the windows.
Thank you all very much. And Ramsey, thank you and congratulations for your help with this. We
I will, I'll
appreciate
let Gretchen know. I'll let Gretchen know. Thank you, Bill.
it, everyone.
All right, we'll see
Thank
you.
you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Ramsey, where are we with the surveys? Have we sent out a request?
No, I have not sent it out, Jerry. I'm a little backed up. I did get a town board approval to send out the RFP.
Okay,
And so the ball's in my court.
all right, that's fine. Any other business before the commission? Motion to adjourn?
so
Hello,
moved.
thank you, David. Second,
I'll second.
John. All in favor?
Aye.
Reluctantly, yes.
Got to go back to the kids, Amanda?
That time's not even over.
Hey, hey, put your headphones on, listen to some music,
Amanda,
and pretend
there's-
you're at a
there's-
meeting.
There's several lengthy matters that you and I need to discuss.
You're not the
You
only
wish.
mom that we have on the board that feels that way. When the meetings go so quickly, they're looking at us going, wait, this is my night out.
It's okay. We're in a rough stage right now. The kids are a little crazy, so
Yeah.
so
Okay.
Well, thank you.
Everyone have a good
very much.
weekend.
have a good night.
Have a nice Memorial Day.
Bye, all.
Thank you.
I'll see you in July.
Ready?
See you, everyone. Steno, thank you. Brett, thank you.
Thanks, Ken, Ramsey.